So what's up, guys? We're back with Reverse 1999. We're gonna do I think this is gonna be like Marcus's story. Hey Melee, thanks for redeeming first. So I just noticed I was gonna do another game, but I noticed that this was 8 hours for both events, so I'm gonna get. I thought I still had an extra day, so we're gonna do the Tall Lighthouse, and then finish the part. If we have extra time, we might swap over to something different. So we're gonna do the Tall Lighthouse and then probably finish up the Beyond the Ring. Alright. Let's get started. So as we saw before, it's usually 8 stages, and then the serveway is fighting parts. Periodic suffering. It seems to have stood still for an eternity, engulfed by the sea of thoughts, kept silent as a cemetery. The 3 lighthouse keepers on the isle still remains, where they should have long passed into memory. Thanks for the lurk. So much has transpired here among the Fallon Isles. Each and every etching. So lower the volume a little bit. So much has transpired here among the Fallon Isles. Each and every event etching itself into my consciousness.
History of the Flannan Isles.
Despite all my installments so far on the history of the Flannan Isles, what I documented barely scratched the surface. The readers, I believe, share my eagerness for the next issue of the Daydream Post. I can't let them down. The young lady rubs her eyes and refocuses back to her writing. The history of the Flannel Isles column has to fit in roughly a third of the page, but there are so many more stories about the archipelago I've yet to tell, stories the readers still haven't heard.
Maybe.
Miss Denier mentioned that even the editors have been following the mystery of the Flannel Isles with intrigued. If I keep up the interest, she might allow me an additional section.
Exactly.
That way, I can present our readers with a more comprehensive look at their stories. Liven up, she dives back into her writing. The Flannel Isles, a small island chain in the outer Hebrides of Scotland, has been the subject of rumors for years. Even up to today, many mysteries still remain to hear. Of course, to hear from a credible authority, the lighthouse and indeed the whole archipelago were perfectly normal, all except for its 3 vanished lighthouse keepers. Speculation over their disappearance drove the public wild, yet the authority claimed they were simply swept away in a deadly storm. This, of course, did nothing to convince them. Meanwhile, a sailor claimed to have seen coal-black UFOs over the island, casting eerie, cold beams of light. Other theories include gargantuan men, man-eating birds, a bottomless abyss, and so on. Rumors continue to swirl, but the truth remains elusive. The police reports, the log entries, and the lack of any recovered bodies, they all scream one thing: this is no simple disappearance. 12 years has passed, yet driven by curiosity, I decided that I must visit the island myself, and there I discovered a never-before-seen logbook. The signatures on it reads, James, recorded on December 15, 1900. pen hangs in midair, like a sail on still water, hesitating to embark on the next line. So much time has passed since the incident, yet the mystery only seems to multiply. How can I shift through all these stories' threads? Before setting foot on the island, I heard other unsettling rumors from the sailors. Ships passing too near often find themselves caught motionless on the sea, with eerie and unnatural ooze foaming on their decks. These frightful tales have meant that most give this archipelago a wide berth. This is a story worth telling.
But
Meanwhile, there is a matter of the island's lighthouse, which has thoroughly unknown means been kept in operations for 12 years despite being abandoned. If I fail to include that sort of mystery into my history of the Flannel Isles, I surely regret it. Which, of course, leads to the central mystery of them all, the disappearance of the original lighthouse keepers in the first place. Spoiled for choice, Marcus is netherless in a brimming pickle. Marcus' choice lies before the poor girl.
History of the Flannel Isles
belong to the island themselves. It only is fair that I treat their stories impartially. To turn down the opportunity to tell any of these stories feel like betraying truth itself. Her gaze wanders, shifting from one page of notes to another. There it is, a narrow path that she could follow to capture the essence of all these stories. I set the logbook aside, noticing the lighthouse just as its light washes past me. After the disappearance, no one proves willing to station on the Flannel Isles. Therefore, nor lighthouse was left unmanned, or so it have been. Hey Dale, how's everything? Oh, thanks for the lurk. From the base of the lighthouse, I walk step by step upward. Curiously, I noticed the wooden stairway beneath my feet appears to be mediocrely well maintained. The strangest still is a warm yellow light spilling from the apex of the tower.
Oh dear.
They all silently, yet truthfully, convey an astonishing revelation that this lighthouse has been running just as well as it has since it was abandoned 12 years ago. My footsteps falter, nearly tumbling backwards at the realization. Yet, how could I believe all that I am seeing? Nevertheless, the slippery moss and weather scratches adorning the floor proves with cold logic that 12 years ago must indeed have passed here. After composing myself, I decided to begin my exploration. Just before I align, I sound the ship's steam whistles to signal passing vessels, if there was any. If I mistook before me, at least the maritime police can collect my body here within a week and have my story publicized, if it must be my last humble contribution to the world. Stepping back onto the island, I no longer feel as relaxed as before. A touch of fear and sorrow occupies me, but thankfully my heart still harbors the courage to strive for knowledge and human progress. And to unveil the truth of the mystery place. Doors locked won't bar my way. I definitely climbed through the window, entering in a cramped space like that by all rights should have been long forgotten and moldering. Marcus has fully immersed herself in the world she is recreating, wandering freely among the blank pages. Then, back to the ink-stained world. The kitchen door is open, though there is naught inside, not even a moldy apple, a rotten orange, nor even cobwebs. My mind, as yet stiff with anticipation, suddenly and involuntarily relaxed as it stumbles over the idle thought. Perhaps this was nothing more than a prank, if a poorly executed one. Or perhaps a kind-hearted soul, for the safety of all ships in the area, made a habit of replacing the light bulb lamp and replacing its rusty screws, but bowed by some secret honor, swore to never tell any of his work. These are, for now, my best theories for the nature of this mystery. Marcus wields her pen with renewed fire, drowning out the sign around her. Out of obligation, I settled on making a final courtesy check before leaving. To think it would mark the beginning of a whole new chapter for this unfolding mystery. Inexplicably, I found myself knocking on the bedroom door, stifling a chuckle as I soon realized my folly. Knock, knock, knock. As I brace to push open the door, I swing open in spite of me with a screeching creak. The sudden movement caused me to stagger and stumble, falling in beside the fireplace inside the room. To my surprise, the cold dust under my palm holds a comforting warmth as if it had come from a dying flame, one that could begin a light. What was that thing? Two figures formed just beyond my vision, a first pale and translucent but gaining substance, as if to match my palpable fear. Are you ghosts? The pair of specters suddenly shriek as if in terror. You can see us? And we face each other dumbfounded before a series of knocks come from outside, steady and deliberate. Knock, knock, knock. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking is no longer just a figment of the author's recollection.
Ms. Marcus.
Oh, who do we see? Anyone in there?
Oh, yes.
A moment, please. She hurriedly gathers the papers now scattered across the desk, stacking them aside neatly. Lest the voice outside has grown impatient, she cautiously pulls the door open.
Ms. Marcus.
The man before her, with his stern gray and neatly patterned tie, nods courteously. Greetings. You see here, I've been sent by the St. Pablo Foundation. I am the investigator responsible for registering all arcanists in the Isla region. His tone is flat and official, but his bearing exudes of air and entitlement and pride.
What is that?
The Foundation? The significance behind the name has clearly been lost on the young lady. Wait, so is this like before she met like Hoffman? So stage 2, a lone bird or a gray dog. The two arcanists at the door exchange identical puzzled glances. Halfway. The growing tension of the moment proves too much for the Countess to handle.
Oh no,
Have I misspoken?
it's all my fault.
Was I so immersed in my writing that I neglected this gentleman's summon? I don't recall how many times the door was knocked. Was it 2? 3? Or 5? No, perhaps more than that indeed.
Perhaps.
The sound of the door seems more muffled than usual. I should write Miss Dinley to see if she might buy me a doorbell to send along with my fee. But to travel all this way is nowhere near convenient. I doubt anyone besides the post will deliver here. Her thoughts wandered further and further, only to be brought back by the deliberate and unexpected cough.
Ms. Marcus.
Allow me to get straight to the point, Miss Marcus. Our records show that you have not left the Flannel Isle in some time.
Oh, yes.
To be candid, this choice of accommodation has caused a bit of an inconvenience of our registration. Most arcanists, at the very least, will frequently bear minimum of social events with like a grand exhibition of the festival in Edensburg. Lady Nellie Melba Divine's voice echoes in theater from Europe to Australia, and if nothing else, the Highland Games attract thousands of spectators and participants every year. Somehow, even the dirtiest of my colleagues find time to celebrate these occasions, at least on occasion. I mean to say, the world is filled with all kinds of wonders, and forgive my directness, Miss Marcus, but you ought to consider seeing more of it, and I hesitate to mention. The man's barrage of verbal overwhelms the reclusive lady at the door. Perhaps this gentleman has caught some kind of mania, or have really been isolated on the island too long and forgotten that people are talkative like this?
Calm down, Marcus.
Steady on, Marcus. You can handle this. Fists clench. She quietly cheers herself on. The current situation calls to mind a page of advice from the Introduction of Social Etiquette. Rather than admitting her ignorance on the subject, a cultured person is wise to steer the conversation towards grounds more familiar to both parties. And for this gentleman, a most suitable topic would be...
I got it!
Ah! I have it! Lifting her head, she realized she must seize the opportunity to pierce through the man's planter.
Sir?
Sir, I believe I heard a lot of your foundation when I was in the orphanage. That you were collecting arcanists, particularly children? And that you did so by force? Some children said people from the foundation took away their friends. The investigator's face grows somber. Evidently, their conference had not been going as prescribed by the introduction of social etiquette. That much was clear, even to Marcus.
Oh!
That was a poor excuse for a joke, Miss Marcus. We are indeed living in a wondrous era, where transgressing social norms have been greatly valued, rationally, science, freedom, and, with it, of course, a progression sense of humor. I'm sure you only meant to appeal to that transgression humor, but those accusations are quite inappropriate even as a joke. Especially as you haven't officially joined the foundation yet.
No.
I didn't mean to offend you. It happened in my home country, in Romania. Perhaps things were different here. Regrettably, there is nothing close to apropos in the scenario for her reading of Introduction to Social Etiquette. The heavier blow drops as Marcus at last picks up the man's intention in coming all this way.
Oh, wait!
Wait a moment, sir. Did you just mention something about joining the foundation? Me?
Of course.
Naturally. Is there a problem? He adjusts his lapel in both hands, as if launching in a well-practiced speech.
Ms. Marcus.
Shall I take it to your heart is beating so fast out of excitement? I understand how you feel. Many new colleagues have experienced similar emotions, but please, don't worry. Our foundation has a full-fledged medical support system.
Sir?
Would you stop for a moment? Her voice trembles as she speaks. I'm very much appreciative for your coming here. I come to fully understand the importance of the foundation and its popularity among other people, and, well, of course, I'm grateful for your invitation. But, as you can see, I currently have some unfinished tasks at hand, which are related to my dream. Marcus turns her gaze back, staring at the small corner behind the doorway, her world of writing.
Oh!
Oh, a dream? Well, might I ask what your dream is, Miss Marcus? The investigator nods knowingly, as if Marcus' response is not at all unexpected. I dream of making people aware of the mysteries of the Flannel Isle, and about the world of Arcanum, and... Aha, well, that is indeed a great inspiration. He steps forward, gesturing towards the boundless sea.
Ms. Marcus.
But Miss Marcus, don't confine yourself to just these islands. Look beyond the horizon. The world out there is full of mystery waiting for us to explore and uncover.
Of course.
And that is precisely what the Foundation aims to do. Surely you want to withhold your contribution to the welfare of humanity and the progress of civilization. No, indeed, this is closely aligned with my goals. If only that... She pauses, swallowing the rest of her unfinished sentence. The investigators come to some sudden realization as he scrutinizes the girls in the doorway.
Oh!
Oh, of course, of course. You are a renowned writer, with countless readers awaiting your next piece. Marcus hurries, waves her hand in denial, a noticeable flush spreading from her ear to her cheeks.
In fact...
No, in fact, I'm really just a greenhorn columnist. Allow me to make my pitch again. The Foundation possesses a great multitude of literary work from all over the world, be they about humans or arcanists. Upon joining the Foundation, you need only to fill out a book request form, pending approval from our supervisor and administration, and then you can read our catalog to your heart's content. Joining the Foundation would more than serve any writer. But there are still so many people curious about the events that occur here. Stories I've yet to write. More importantly, James, Thomas, and Donald, my friends, they're all counting on me to tell their stories about these islands.
Sorry.
My work here is not finished. She gasped, as if dislodging a boulder from her chest. The man frowns, his disappointment evident behind the polite exterior.
All right.
As you wish, madam. I will faithfully report your choice to my superior. My choice? She panics again.
No.
I mean, I haven't made any choices yet. I only hope you might give me some time to consider your proposal. I promise it won't be long. Whether moved by her nearly pleading tone or swooping in on his pitch again, the investigator clears his throat.
But...
As you wish, but I would caution you that the Foundation enrollment capacity is limited. Should you tardy too long in deciding, you may find yourself waiting outside our office, wishing you'd taken up our offer sooner. When you made up your mind, send this to the L Star. No need to write a specific address, just the Foundation will do. He hands Marcus a letter with a checkered pattern, then turns abruptly without looking back. Left alone, the girl sways and collapses to the ground. The blank form is clutched tightly in her hands, seized with worries. The Foundation is a renowned organization, one that possesses a significant number of arcanists like me. It might be a source of insight for my future work. Not to mention the Foundation's Colossus collection of books both on Arcanum and social society. And human society. Still, I have to think about my readers. They'll be waiting for the latest story from the Flannel Isles. Not to forget that Miss Dinley holds great exposition concerning my work.
History of the Flannel Isles.
How could I disappoint them? Won't anyone help me with this? Conundrum. Her fake cries fails to travel far. It fails even to drown out the sound of renewed knocking. Knock, knock, knock. Is it the goat? The specters?
Hey!
Oh, it is the specters, I think. Because if it's the portraits like this, that means like, is it like a kind of like a ghost? Oh, hi, Miss Marcus, you're finally awake. We thought you might find yourself sleeping outside again, for the 13th time. And with your eyes still open. Another voice added to the chorus of cooing over Marcus.
Everyone?
Ah, nothing unusual, is it, boys? Our wee Marcus has always been good at sticking her nose around, looking for things she can what do you call it? Again? Ah, read. Oh, hello, Mr. Donald, and Mr. James. You break our poor ghastly hearts, miss. Did you hear our footsteps rushing over to you? Marcus gives a quick glance at the three men's feet, which are nearly transparent, and hover slightly off the ground.
Sorry.
Alright, no time to beating around the bush. Cuddles. Give the letter over to the last. I bet it's another admirer, heaping praise on our Marcus. Another letter is handed to Marcus, bearing a pattern familiar to her. Any worries, Miss Marcus. We are good. Just as we promised. We remembered the tongue lashing you gave us when the last postman took a tumble into the water from fright. We were quiet as church mice around the postman lately. Hey, Donald. He can attest to it. What's with him always hiding in the distance like a right coward?
What?
Didn't they call me a coward? But hey, I promise you, Thomas hasn't spooked them. Nearly a bad face, nor wink this time. Still, the postman turned tails the second he tosses down the letter. And just what are they so afraid of, anyway? This place, I reckon. And that's why we need our wee Marcus and her history of the Thano Isles to tell our story. Wait, so are these the three missing lighthouse keepers or something back then? That's exactly what our wee Marcus is trying to do.
What?
What's wrong, Miss Marcus? You seem a mite troubled. Something odd about the envelope? It's a rejection strip of my 15th edition of History of the Thano Isles. That was a pretty long part one. Wait, no, wait. Oh, that was part. Okay, that was part two. I didn't know we were on the second one yet. Alright, so stage 3, 3 islands. The rejection letter shakes in her trembling hands. We regret to inform you that after discussion with the editorial board, we will be unable to publish the 15th edition of your History of the Thano Isles. We would like to share with you our primary concern regarding the edition. Since its publication, History of the Thano Isles has garnered intense discussion among our readers. We are well aware of the curiosity about the mystery of Pickle and your skillful writing. It is in this hope that we ask you to revise the latest edition, to reveal the truth about the three lighthouse keepers in great detail. It cannot be understated that we are no means doubting your capability, Miss Marcus, but with their limited understanding of Arcanum, most of our readers have expressed that they were more interested in what happened to the lighthouse keeper than truth. They believe that you can reveal the mystery that has puzzled us for more than a decade and come to tidy ends for the story. In light of our decision, we have already reserved some promotional space for a History of the Thano Isles. We look forward to your revised edition. Yours faithfully, Denny. The letter floats to the ground, falling from a trembling hand. The girl lowers her head, devastated, lingering over her.
But
Miss Tierney said that she is unsatisfied with the latest edition, but aren't these stories all a part of uncovering the truth our readers are expecting? The oddly arranged reef, the ultimate cause of the lighthouse phenomenon. Aren't the readers curious at all? The truth about what happened to the lighthouse keepers. Did I do something wrong? Marcus looks out at the ghosts gathered around her. It seems what the readers are really eager to learn about is not the Isles but your legend. The other ghost pats Marcus on the shoulders.
Marcus.
It's not your fault, wee Marcus. You think there are naught but spoiled brats left in the world. Aye, but you cannot blame them, can you? How could Rocks and Lighthouse compete with the tale of three seasoned, unfair seafaring spirits? He nods as if clearly admitting to some truth. Some loyalty had they show. Up until now, they could not stop puffing up your work. A brand new approach to documentary literature. A one-of-a-kind writing style. A highly what is it now? A highly immersive reading experience. The younger girls recites the remarks indigently. They say it themselves, and then in a blink, our wee Marcus no longer a what is it they say? A progressional icon of literary trend, or some old song like that.
Sir?
Mr. Thomas, please say no more.
In fact,
I could never live up to that kind of praise. Besides, there's no denying it. This is a rejection letter. Marcus' cheeks flush in shame, her head lowered deep into her chest. Suddenly, a flood of thoughts flow into her mind.
oh dear.
Oh dear, the way I boast to that Foundation gentleman about my work.
Maybe.
Perhaps she was aware of this letter. Maybe he even secretly laughed at my ignorance. Could he have passed by the mailbox on the way here? She repeatedly examines the envelope, as if seeking confirmation of something.
No.
Oh, don't worry, Miss Marcus. The glue on the envelope was intact when we got it. Couldn't they have been opened by anyone else? No, I'm not worried about anything. Still deflating about a punctured balloon, she murmurs to herself.
Perhaps.
The Foundation investigated any arcades pending registration. They probably examined every letter sent to arrive here recently. If so, they might read this rejection letter at some book club gathering. Then it will become the laughingstock of the entire L Star. No, the entire United Kingdom. Oh, all right. I have to write them. Maybe I should ask the Foundation not to report what I boast about my literary work. But should I really join the Foundation?
History of the Flannan Isles.
The progress of the history of the Flannel Isles hasn't been quite as smooth as I imagined. Perhaps I do need more time to think about this. Oh, but that investigator did imply that the Foundation is not particularly patient. Would he take my indecision as disrespect? Lightheaded and drained, she braced herself with a flating step. The spectral sailors gather around, lifting the fallen letter from the ground together.
Marcus.
Raise your head, wee Marcus. I'm sure the lad and I can help. In my eminently humble kin of writing and reading, isn't it so that the writers place their most interested content at the very beginning so that they grab their readers and keep them reading? So, what if you were baiting them in with are the likes of Rock, Seagulls, and Lighthouse? Well, they're not so much the keen to seize your attention, eh? He gives his chest a few pats. Now, my humble self, on the other hand, I lived here for decades, not to mention I've been here not living for a decade more. I reckon the memories I got tucked away could make some of them for some pleasing bait indeed. The quiet ghost timidly speaks up. I think maybe James is right. Maybe he could write just a wee bit more about our stories if you like. That is.
I mean...
I only mean, we spent a lot of time on the island. People don't need to come here in person to see what we saw, to hear what we heard. Maybe this could clear up all the fears. Maybe make people curious. His suggestion, though it whispers, speaks volume. The other two ghastly gentlemen looks at him in proud approval.
Great.
Exactly. That must be the quite curious of my past, and of course, more than happy to let these youngins glean something from old James' yarn.
Now that's experience.
See, the minds of a seasoned sailor like myself is filled with heart-stirring stories. I could go on for days. He probably strokes his mustache, preserved in spirit, exactly as trimmed and refined as the old sailor himself.
Oh!
You're pulling my leg, mate. Fat chance. They'll give a barnacle's bottom about those ancient salty fish tales of yours. Intentional or not, the bickering ghost dispels the gloom hovering around Miss Marcus.
Sirs,
Really? Will you be willing to share your past and perhaps even reveal the truth about your deaths?
Of course.
Of course, Marcus. You're our best and our only mate besides ourselves.
Marcus.
I also want to show more of this place to people before we completely forgotten by the world. Thank you so much, all of you. She bows sincerely before producing her pen and paper. Aye, alright. Now, where do we start? Aye, that's it. A story from some years ago. Back then, of course. I was more than a humble ghost of a man you see before you. I was the leader of this outfit, and these two were my half-witted lackeys. Yet, driven by our shared honor and faith and my keen sense of command, we successfully defended these isles from falling into beldom. We drove away more than a few greedy moneybags who wanted to claim these isles for themselves. Oh, and I recall we once saved a gargoyle that was dying of thirst. Throughout these heroic endeavors was a wise old Captain James who stood settled over these isles until the incident. The other ghost rambles on, peering over at his lackeys from time to time.
No.
What a loyal ball! If you write down anything the salty old blur tells you, you'll name the readers left.
Sir?
Oh, it's not that we don't like your stories, Captain. It's only you went on a bit, maybe, if you don't mind. We can see if, less like my stories more.
You fool.
Oh, I belittle your captain's storytelling. Unsubordination, I say, ingrates whippersnappers. Didn't you hear them? Didn't listen to them? Wee lassie? With my darling navigational narrative, they'll be begging for your next edition.
But...
It's only... Captain, the story is not just about you. All fired up, the trio crowds around Miss Marcus, jolting for the increasingly scarce space for her manuscript paper. Gentlemen, please quiet yourself. We do this by turns. Aye, fair enough. Then suppose I have my go. I hope you're ready, lass, because I can guarantee I get the best of the best. Now is my first winter on this island. On that fateful day last, there has been quite a few folks on that have aligned with me. Police officers, some repairmen for the Northern Lighthouse Board. I think one of them sharpened off with my oilskin coat after they finished tinkering with the clock in the lighthouse.
They...
So there I was, there watching them from afar, waving at them as you do. Not that a soul noticed me. Well, then, and if you are sitting, I advise you to. See then, something out of the ordinary happened. For there was a sky-shrouding fog that enveloped all the isles around Ella's Moor, and the more advanced telescope couldn't see but half a nautical mile away. Some folks panicked. Ere long, the damp mist stroked straight into everybody's clothes, and then when I noticed my body has gone and turned transparent.
Then...
There was a great honking rumble, which grew closer and closer. I raised my head. Before me was a gigantic tower wave that legs of which could submerge half of the island and a little bit more besides. Damn near swept away the lot of us. A few survivors threw themselves onto the boats by the shore, so I go to wipe the waters from my face. Took all but a second, and then I swear to me, Mom. When I look up, the fog was gone, and the survival boats were all anchored steadily. Must have been 5 miles out. Then it seems just as quickly as I blinked, they were moving again, racing towards the horizon at the speed of 14 knots or more.
Oh dear.
Oh my, that is truly astounding.
In fact,
Astounding, eh? Maybe, but it's the truth. I'm sure of it. I kept it locked up tight in my mind since that day.
but
Marcus, I don't mean to interrupt. Only, I don't think that really happened. Oh, Donald. Just, you wait your turn to tell the little last your story. No need to go mucking mine up. Mark my words, Miss Marcus, you're gonna reel in the readers with this story. Provided, of course, that you choose it at the future of your next edition. Her motionless pen gives away her hesitation.
Marcus.
Perhaps you might like to listen to my story first, Miss Marcus. When I was a wee bar, my granddad told me a lot of stories about these islands. Only back then, they weren't called the Fountain Isles. Elmore and its 6 nearby islands were all together referred to the 7 Holy Isles. Someone claimed to have unearthed some skeleton there, and these bones were those of an infant, but some said that must belong to another race.
So,
For a while, this place was known as the Pigeon Isle. The emotion carries in his tones is so intense that his ethereal form almost feels corporal for a second. It was because of these stories that I joined the Northern Lighthouse Board and became an assistant lighthouse keeper here right after I finished my schooling.
I hope.
I hope to uncover the truth about the Pidgey Islands.
So,
Did you succeed?
no.
No, but I managed to find some clues, some signs that there were mysterious animals about here. Perhaps the Pidgey really did live here. The other two breathed a sigh of relief. I'm afraid there isn't much meat on the bone of that tail, lad. It won't be due for the main dish for the Weed Lassie's edition. He strokes his mustache, failing a sense of pity.
That's right.
Sorry, lass, but your story is even mustier than the captain's, and his was rustier than the knight's armor. Aye, it might surprise a few old folks, but other than that, it's a dud. Oh, but I have evidence, Miss Marcus. I'll prove it to you. The 3 spooky would-be storytellers evolve into another fruitless argument.
Now that's experience.
Not one of yours have the learning to understand the minds of our last readers. She needs a proper story, from a refined gentleman with a wealth of experience. Salt off with your experience. What the last needs are the events what leads to our deaths, not moldy old sailor yarn. Oh, aye, mummery was it? And you said I was spitting yarn. I've never seen anything like what you described in all of my years here.
But
Aye, but we cannot go making things up for a nice story. Oh, but Captain, I don't suppose you even remember what that so-called Goryo looked like, do you? Unless you do, I mean. The debate is headed nowhere fast. I think we ought to leave it up to Miss Marcus to decide. The 3 shifts their gaze onto the girl before them. Captain James' recollection is certainly the longest and most complete. I'm sure the readers will appreciate his thoroughness. The Thomas experience have the closest tie to the outside world, and the mystery of their deaths, which might corroborate some circulating rumors. And for the stories of the Pivotal Isle, it seems like it might have been the most rich historic element. All of these are worthy of being recorded in more detail. Her evasive gaze cannot escape from the 3 spectral lighthouse keepers' eager eyes. She finds herself caught between the ghost and the deep blue sea. Miss Marcus. Her lips tremble slightly along with the manuscript paper in her hand. I'll include all your stories, I promise. I did not overstate the literary value of this edition. I can only share with you that it has inspired with the experience of the three ghosts, the very lighthouse. Dear Miss Denley, I write to you in hopes that this latest edition will prove more than satisfactory. Did I make the right choice? Or rather, did I even have a choice? In any case, I finally completed my edition. I hope nothing interrupts the delivery. Moreover, I hope it doesn't get rejected again. Really? If you like the pen on paper scratching, maybe you should just find some. If it makes your brain happy, you can find some ASMR thing with the pen writing or scratching. Illuminated by the dim reflection of the lighthouse beacons against the pressuring clouds, the heavy stacks of manuscript paper is tossed into a lonely, rusted mailbox. We're gonna take a break after we finish 4. Stage 4 is Fraudster. Fraudster. A blank page is folded and unfolded again and again. Her hands repeat the action unconsciously as Miss Marcus murmurs initially to herself.
Theoretically.
My latest edition of History of the Flannel Isles should have been published in the Daydream Post yesterday.
But
I know that if the editors weren't satisfied with the entry, it would have been rejected 2 days prior. But Mr. Thomas said we received no letters at all as yesterday. So it passed the editor's review. It must have. So I should let myself feel some relief. Thanks to the help of my ghostly friends. This latest edition covers by some truly extraordinary topics and gave the readers an opportunity to better understand the Flannel Isles.
maybe.
Maybe we'll even spur a tourism boom at the Flannel Isles. The local council will be happy for it, I'm sure. And Miss Denley, well, she'll be the editor of the year and get a submission bonus for her tour of Europe. She provided me with so much help in writing History of the Isles and in life more generally. She most certainly deserves this. I hope she will find time to send me a few new books during her trip. I never had the chance to read the complete order of the story of Sarah. Miss Aura is truly ingenious. Even just a few excerpts I have from his work inspire me so much. She muses to herself, losing herself in the tranquil depths of the world of literature. Unfortunately, her moment of tranquility passed all too quickly.
Marcus.
Miss Marcus, a whole platoon of postmen just got off the ferry. Somehow, unperturbed by the painting ghost popping his head out through the wall, Marcus reached the meaning behind the message in a sudden rising start.
What?
A platoon of postmen? Aye, a whole slew of them. And land, and I think it must mean your new edition was a crackling success.
Maybe.
All those high-nosed hobnobs are probably planning to invite you to give lectures all around the world. Now don't go forgetting your don't go forgetting us with your sudden fame. Remember, it was your ghostly mates who got you here. Miss Marcus reaches for her coat, and together they spread towards the Isle's mail drop-off. 3 ghastly gentlemen and 1 ghastly girl stands in front of the small mailbox, exchanging anxious looks.
Marcus.
Ahoy, gentlemen! Miss Marcus. The postman already came and left, and went. That's as soon as he dropped off these letters. Oh, is it like fan letters? That's it? They didn't ask for any local postcards? Perhaps an autograph from the start of the latest edition? Well, no. No, I suppose I didn't want to spook them. Since Miss Marcus asked us not to.
Everyone?
Oh, aye. They were the ones spooked, eh? Just as well, lad. We need some time to adjust to our new lives as undead celebrities. Now stiffen up, only a landman can get nervous over a little rising tide. These letters are all for me? The ghost nods in unison. It can only be, we miss. You mostly certainly a fine piece. Only natural that it might bring a bit of zealous strife.
But
Still, there are so many letters. After adjusting her scarf in an attempt to cover the flush of her cheeks, she reached over quickly for one of the letters. But as she opens it, the words within leaves her painfully stunned. I want to apologize for my candor, writing to you as a fan of the much celebrated writer of the history of the Flannel Isles. But I feel I must express my disappointment, not just for myself, but for the thousands of other readers now feeling equally deceived. When I first read your column, I was captivated by the vivid psychological description and the detailed instructions, prompting me to buy issues after issues of the magazine and even recommend it to my friends and family. Yet I see now you and your publisher has concocted a massive fraud, leading us in a long con to rob us any satisfaction. Her hands freeze in place, unable or unwilling to turn the page. The Daydream Post never stopped praising the upcoming edition of the History of the Flannel Isles. They claim it will finally fit the cloud of mystery looming over the Flannel Isles once and for all. I waited eagerly for almost a week for the new edition that was supposed to reveal all mysteries. Only for you to introduce some sad old captain with a ghost story, an overly foggy day about some island swallowing waves, and then a bit of old history about the 7 Holy Isles. And nothing else. He claims these ghosts have spent more than 12 years on this island, yet you still do not provide a shred of explanation concerning this disappearance, or why it is because they became ghosts. You take the word of these ghosts at face value, but are the memories even reliable? Do they even have credible evidence? If these are truly ghosts, then why can't you tell us where their missing bodies are? How can you possibly prove this isn't just another arcanist rambling about her own fairy tale? You try to obfuscate the hard questions with these twisted yarns, but all you've done is create more mysteries, stretching them out like old taffy, but I see through that. You never had any intention to conclude the story. You've been stringing us along the whole time. You, madam, are nothing but a fraudster. Marcus stands still, her mouth agape, unable to make a sound. This letter is truly terrible. Maybe it's just a joke, like your awful prank Captain James and Thompson sometimes play with me. Now, steady on, Miss Marcus. It's but a whole shot across the bow. Don't mistake it for a barrage. The rest of these are quite to be glowing reviews.
I agree.
Aye, the old foghorn's right. Every tweed lass or lad thinks he's a critical these days. Let's leave it to the professionals. Where's that letter from Miss Dignity? If Emily knows what way the wind's blowing, it'll be her. In a daze, Marcus rumbles through the pile of letters after seeking life preserver in the stormy sea. Soon enough, she finds what she's looking for. Dear Miss Marcus, our illustrated writer of the History of Flannel Isles column. Dear Miss Marcus, first as a matter of business, I must admit that yesterday's issue of the Daydream Post featuring your history of the Isles was a tremendous sales success. Split on by the delay caused by a previous edition, it seems our journal was sold out within hours of your eager readers. But we only just started on the second printing before the group of frenzied readers stormed up to our office. They were waving their arms, shouting things like refund, this is fraud, and one particular assorted fellow claimed he'll be writing to the Prime Minister to report you. After communicating with them, we realized that they were all loyal readers of the history of the Final Isles. We call your history of the Isle a primitive scam disguised as a documentary. They accused us of conspiring with you to deceive everyone. What a absurd allegation. They even redirected their dissatisfaction history of the Isles onto us, a small-time publishing house. To be perfectly candid, we did launch a significant promotion campaign before the release of this issue. However, it was not a hasty decision. It was out of our trust in you. You promised us in your submission that all that all of your descriptions were based on the first-hand experience of those directly involved. We were responsible for their authentication. Regretfully, things have now developed beyond anyone's imagination. We believe that if you cannot sensibly meet the reader's expectation in the next edition with a sensible conclusion or some sort of revealing of ultimate truth, otherwise you may need to consider a new Sudoku or perhaps a change of subject beyond the Final Isles, or more simply, give up on the job altogether. We certainly hope you consider our advice above. The bitter sting of the letter saps the strength from her legs as she collapsed slowly to the ground and into the heap. The Coles attempts as best they can to make out what the rest of the letters hold. This is despicable that you would abuse the secret power of the pen to promote this bizarre so-called arcanum, and how much worse of its plotting, unconnected narrative, if anything at all, of what you said was true, would only mean our world has gone mad.
No.
Wrong letter, sorry, lass. He faints a small bombing whistle as he tosses the letter aside.
Marcus.
Allow me, Miss Marcus, if my years have proved of any use at all, it's been in the discerning truth of slander. I wish to extend my congratulations to the author for what must have been a handsome fee you earned yourself with your talent. Chief of which must be the hectoring and forgery. I pray you farewell during the coming police interrogation for this fraud of this edition. Hopefully they'll be trained to make sense of this arcane attack. Apologies, it seems wisdom does not always spring from age. I think maybe I found one that isn't quite so terrible. Really? Dear author, I wanted you to know that I fully understand the deep meaning behind this publication. It is crystal clear that you drew inspiration from the stories of Penelope and the Delin as you prepared us an endless tipperary and a bottomless bucket. I'm so glad to be able to bear witness to what you created, a torture to the sense in which has left me wishing to swap places with their themselves. So long and good riddance to your internal stories.
Sorry.
Sorry, Miss Marcus. I never much for reading, but was that not good? Thank you all for the same, Donald. She nods weakly towards Donald. Then, in a slow fall to match the crashing waves against the shore, she collapsed completely to the ground. The ghost clumps together anxiously in the dim room. Marcus sits up in bed after a struggle, the harrowing words in those letters still rooting through her. all coming together in a catastrophic class of anxiety, dread, and helplessness. The nearby voice grew louder, dragging her out from one kind of havoc to the next. I'm dreadfully sorry, lass. But let's get on to the righting of the ship. We cannot blouse the water if we do not find the holes. It's evident to me that our failure must be laid on Mr. Thomas. It's very clear it was his ear-fetched tale that set your readers off.
Everyone?
I cannot imagine anyone wasting their precious time reading something so bizarre and fanciful, the likes of which surely spoiled many an afternoon tea. He crossed his arms, turning with a vexed expression to his compatriot.
No.
Oh, it was my part, eh? I thought the captain goes down with the ship.
In fact,
Didn't you hear what the wee miss had to say? Her reader wanted positive and progress, not ancient prattle. It was your bit which steered us into the rocks. Those yarns of yours were so long that they nearly fit into my granny's attic. Miss Marcus' readers probably nodded off halfway through. I? Whine all you like. What do you know about storytelling, eh? I bet you didn't even know your Shakespeare from your Shelley. James' convoluted face turned red with anger, his mustache bristling. Please, stop, please, both of you.
Sirs,
Sorry, please calm down, gentlemen. Let's hear what Donald has to say.
Sorry.
Well, I don't mean to speak out of turn, but lying is the worst sin, so we'll speak I must. I reckon it was both of your stories that did this. Captain, your story was nothing more than a chance for you to show off. You distorted the truth, even when it was against what Thomas described.
But...
I think that our story, Miss Marcus' work, it should have focused on the mysteries of Final Isles themselves.
that's right.
Well said, Donald. And you,
But...
Thomas, your story had just so many mistakes, just as a different sort. You did exactly what Miss Marcus' readers said they hated. You gave her stories with mysteries, aye, but no ending. How could anyone be happy with that? I just said what I knew, nothing more, no lies, no registration. 12 years and more we've been waiting on this island, still you both know nothing about this place, about anything, and you didn't have at least the wits to trust someone with experience.
Marcus.
Actually, Miss Marcus, I'm afraid, well, maybe this isn't entirely our fault entirely either. You're blaming me? Well, blame? No. Only, you were the one to write down our stories. We're not writers, miss. We didn't know what bits are important or how to finish the story. Maybe your readers are angry for a good reason. Maybe you should have based the edition on what I said about the 7 Holy Isles and the pigeons. Then you could have given them a proper investigation, something to really talk about. Ah, so now we see Donald. If only we had listened to you, eh? Not so noble now, eh? Face it, lad. The story of yours was weaker than watered-down whiskey.
Great.
Thomas is right, laddies, though only in as much as they said about broken clocks. The truth of the matter is clear, lads. The wee miss should have only used my story.
Excuse me.
Oi, aye, but what makes you say that?
no, it's not right.
Please stop. The spirited voice of their heated quarrel engulfs the entire room. In her despair, Marcus begins to question herself. When exactly did the story of mine turn into a catastrophe? Was it when the deluge of anger letters arrived? Was it when I submitted the revised manuscript? Or was it when I hesitated to choose between their stories?
Can I do it?
Maybe I'm not truly cut out for this job. When I began writing, I wanted to record everything, every piece of knowledge, especially those lesser known facts. Things that might be lost in time, that might go silent if I wasn't there. Stories that have been exquisite, delicate, captivating, or at least relatable.
But
But what has all the work brought me? as Marcus closed her eyes. Agonizing memories flashed over the theater of her mind miserably. Her dreams seemed to be pulling further and further away from her. I dreamed that my work would help humankind to understand and accept Arcanum. But now my column is being bashed by my once loyal readers. They even stormed the Daydream Post. Poor Miss Dinley must have lost her chance at the Editor of the Year award. Perhaps, but what if this leads to the entire community to distrust any future writing related to Arcanum? Or worse, those who still read them might become labeled as occultists or lunatics. Then human society discrimination against Arcanists might grow even more severe, not just in the Flannan Isles. No, maybe against the entire Arcanist world, and I will be the calluses whose horrible writing divided the two races even further.
It's all my fault.
Marcus uncovers his face with her palm, but no amount of self-pity can drown out the quality spirits. I only hope to alleviate their loneliness by reading this island and documenting its stories. I just wanted to share them with the world.
Why?
But now these ghostly gentlemen, protagonists in my latest disaster, are tearing into one another before my eyes. My writing didn't bring them happiness. It intensified their misfortune.
No!
But all I wanted to do was tell a fascinating story. She lets out a loud cry from her corner, hoping to silence the continuous flickering, even for the moment.
Hmm?
To her surprise, the argument stops indeed. Did that actually work?
Hey!
Oi, pick yourself up, Marcus. Someone's at the door. The girl comes back to her senses, pulling herself to the door by will alone. Is it the investigator? A figure, at once familiar and strange, stands before her.
Good to see you, Miss Marcus.
Oh, it's Hoffman. Good morning, madam. My name is Hoffman, and I've come a long way to see you. So, stage 6, preface. The figure of a woman dressed in a long brown coat walks ahead in a steady pace, followed by the nervous young lady.
Excuse me?
Are you found the foundation?
Yes.
It seems like I will be able to skip my introduction. Hoffman nods, seemingly ignoring or neglecting the panic in Marcus's tone.
Sorry.
I'm so sorry for having made you come all this way. I will respond to the foundation as soon as possible, I promise. Hoffman halts her steps and turns around. Her puzzled gaze accurately catches Marcus's evasive eyes.
Mm-hmm.
The Foundation application has been approved by the local government. From today onward, a small portion of the archipelago will be set aside for our use as experimental site. Experimental?
Yes.
As for the upcoming authorization project, jointly operated between the Foundation and Laplace, involves a new Arcanist theory. Am I not supposed to know about this? Marcus takes a few steps back with a flinch.
No problem.
No, it's not confidential. Laplace does not intend to keep its work here a secret. Authorization Project, Laplace, Emerging Arcanist Theory.
I got it!
Oh, I think I read this before, the study of ley lines.
Yes.
Correct. Laplace published the theory in their second edition of the Frontier of Times Journal. Just some basic introduction, of course, nothing monumental. Hoffman nods, nonplussed by Marcus' brief of reading. The Foundation will be responsible for the project application procedures and field confirmation. Of course, We will aim to minimize any impact of this natural surrounding as much as possible. She turns around to look at the solitary tower perched on the cliff. Should you or they have any concerns, please contact our LO Star branch for further assistance. So, are you not here about my investigation? My sole task is to survey the Infernal Isles. There's no time to, or nor inclination to meddle in the affairs of some unrestricted arcanist. The lingering specters of the other investigators finally fade from her mind.
Of course.
My visit is not part of the assigned mission. I see.
This is out of my own interest as a reader.
So she's a reader of her. So she's a reader of her column.
What?
You read my column?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, from the first edition to the latest. I must say, they have been very information. The horrifying letters from before seem to have grown wings. Ready to swarm Marcus once more. She bows her head as if waiting the immediate drop of a guillotine. Out of curiosity, I went through the trouble of finding some of your earlier work. You have covered a wide range of topics in detail, but unfortunately it seems the space provided to you by your magazine has been, till now, quite limited. Although they weren't much, just a few jottings really. I thought nobody remembered them. Though her body feels stiff, Marcus forces out an awkward smile. Arcanum and Lighthouse Dens Maintenance. Do you remember this article? That was my first submission after arriving at the Infernal Isles from Romania. Hoffman nods, indifferent to the nearly overwhelming blush on Marcus's cheek. The way you relayed the specifics of lighthouse keeping with such great enthusiasm, it was as if you felt it had something to offer to every reader. The internal structure, different in lighthouse design in various locales, the evolution of light sources, advancement in light maintenance, even the ideal number of lighthouse keepers.
Frankly,
I found it perhaps a little overwrought, but still undoubtedly worth reading. Huh?
well, if...
Dear friends, imagine a flame that requires no fuel, immune to extinguishing no matter in cold winds or heavy rains, and shine bright enough to illuminate the sea even through the thickest of fog. Might we then be able to save on nearly a century worth of gas or electricity expense, and direct those funds for more pressing matter? As it happens, on a small island surrounded by warm waters, there exists just a fiery critter. Their docile and nocturnal creatures will well be suitable use for endless reproduction light source. There are so many more descriptions like this. I'm surprised you remembered them all so well, Miss Hoffman.
Miss Marcus.
Miss Marcus, you must understand one thing. Though discrimination against Arcanists has been less severe in our area, it remains for most humans a ingrained habit. One that won't change overnight.
Why are you still trying to introduce Arcanum to the human world you're not familiar with?
Marcus fell silent for a while. Her precious blush turns to cold sweat. Her unspoken thought, inspiration as a reader, and her inner struggles, it felt as though this Hoffman saw through them all. Yet, feeling as though she has been spared the headman's axe for today at least, she raises her eyes upward. I suppose that's a valid question. Perhaps I was too naive?
In fact,
For me, I always seen the world as a piece of puzzle book, perplexing riddles, absurd words, and bewildering images. One I was happy to keep at a distance, even if it was so many pleasant aspects. Human science, progression, idealism, arcanum sports, various newly discovered critters, and many, many more. I wanted to share these things, the pleasant ones, You deserve to be known by more people, whether human or Arcanist. Her voice is trembling yet grows more resonant on each word.
If I keep reading, I'll eventually find the answers to everything. I can introduce human arts and crafts to the Arcanists and demystify Arcanist fables and legends for the humans. I'll be the bridge between humans and Arcanists, helping them understand one another. Oh dear.
Did I just say that all out loud? She awkwardly gasped, trying to take in a great puff of fresh sea air, her face flushing red from ear to ear. Still, a gentle but intentional clap of applause follows.
That is a great aspiration, Miss Marcus. The
Foundation had been working towards the very same goal. Thank you for your kind words, Miss Hoffman. Yet the catastrophe flashed through her mind once more, plunging her back into the cold reality.
In fact,
Only, it seems my writing has done nothing but push me further away from my goal. Not only have I failed to demystify Arcanum, I failed my publisher's expectation and my readers. I couldn't even write a servable story. Ah, do you mean this edition? Hoffman produced a folded magazine, the image of Flannel Isles on it, coldly clutched at Marcus's heart. You didn't throw it away?
You underestimate yourself, Miss Marcus. The story isn't as hopeless as you think.
I don't quite understand what you mean. Her breath quickens. Madam Hoffman, are you saying that I might still be able to turn the story around?
The readers.
Humans often read differently from Arcanists. What Arcanists consider completely may, on the contrary, read it unfundamental to humans. Compared to the wild, the virgin way of thinking of Arcanists, humans are more inclined towards concrete conclusions backed by hard evidence. After arriving here, I quickly grasped the gap in thinking between yourself and human readers of history of the Flannel Isles. To begin with, just how many people do you think are aware of the existence of ghosts? Marcus stops in place as she goes over Hoffman's unexpectedly stunning question. Well, I understand the story of the brown lady of Raymond Hall is widespread. Many people have tried to find her. Meanwhile, the ghosts of the Grand Mansion are probably only known to the Scottish people. The White Lady is quite famous in Germany, but most people tell her stories to scare children.
Good.
Ah, so now you see it, don't you, Miss Marcus? History of the Flannel Isles is published by the Daydream Post Historic column. For most of its audience, the existence of ghosts is beyond far-fetched. For you to adapt the stories of three ghosts without ever taking the time to explain the ghosts themselves to your readers, well, is it any wonder so many doubted you?
The readers.
Yep. So I think we're, what, part 6 or 7? I forget which one we're on. But this is before the main event. So this is before she met Miss Hoffman. Or Madam Hoffman. Your readers couldn't see and understand your ghost friends as you do. Nor could they realize these ghosts were nearly as equal about the truth of Flannel Isles as anyone else.
The readers followed the ghosts throughout the story, but never got to know them. They also couldn't fully understand the parts on Arcanum. The readers didn't feel engaged.
Hoffman puts away the magazine. So Miss Marcus is like a writer. But also Arcanist. We're gonna try to see if we can roll for her later after the event ends. You're right. I keep saying that I wanted the humans and Arcanists to understand one another. That I want to bring readers a more profound experience. But in doing so, I overlooked the obvious. How did I let this happen? A strong sense of regret surged up to her throat involuntarily. Humans are often unable to sense the subtle fold in emotions. They're confined by their rational sense. On the other hand, Arcanists can just as easily be trapped by their emotions. overlooking the obvious as you say.
Don't
So,
blame yourself for this.
a touch of warmth reaches Marcus's shoulder. Marcus lifts her head blankly, not yet realizing that Hoffman picked up her pen from the ground.
As an arcanist, you can read the intricacies of the world that others would easily miss. But that is also the problem. Human readers are more used to sifting through clues and details to make logical sense of the story. They also like to simplify things and draw a single conclusion. I think
If you would permit me to offer some editorial advice to your history of the Flannel Isles, I have a suggestion.
But
Please tell me.
you need to find some answers of your own.
Conclusion? Of my own? I think you yourself do not yet know all the mysteries of Flannel Isles, but do you believe you can unravel all the truth about this place? No, I don't think I can. Perhaps creating this column was a mistake after all.
No.
No, Miss Marcus, not knowing the truth is nothing at all to be ashamed of. Rationality drives us to understand reality as we see it. Curiosity aids us in searching for the puzzle yet to be solved. Both of them must be the fuel that powers your writing. I thought a writer should be absolutely certain about everything they write. If my readers want conclusion, how could they accept that there are puzzles that even I can't solve? I think they will if you offer them the chance. They will understand your confusion and curiosity as well as your passion for trying to unravel these mysteries. Whether you find the truth or not, it is a journey that keeps us engaged. What they need is an exhilarating experience from the perspective of arcanists.
can I do it?
Sparks their curiosity with puzzles are still yet unsolved. Do you think my stories can really do that? Can I really inspire them to seek the truth themselves?
Maybe.
Perhaps to seek the truth is a long journey, but still.
When we bravely admit that truth doesn't always exist, we find another truth, and this courage deserves respect.
The sun isn't brighter than usual, nestled upon the blanket of cloudy sea's air. But its dazzling warmth still seems to scorch her from the first time in a long time.
Madam Hoffman?
Madame Hoffman didn't stay long, but she left behind a journal filled with her comments and suggestions, and an address as concise as she was. To the nameless small island near the Flannel Islands, where Madame Hoffman said she will continue her work for a few weeks before returning to the Foundation. She also spoke with me about joining the Foundation before she left.
But
For the first time being, I still felt I was more pressing matters to attend to. I picked up my pen and courage again to face up to my catastrophe and overcome it. I took Madame Hoffman's advice to heart. My writing was no longer crammed with every detail until I began to scribble in the margin and between the rows. This revision was, quite frankly, an extensive overhaul. The gentleman ghost voiced some overeager protest despite my repeated apologies. But Madame Hoffman's comments and suggestions instilled great courage in me. And finally, I completed it. Yep, we have 2 more left. So stage 7, award speech. The lighthouse illuminates its surroundings, faithful and steady as always. The waves lash against the rocky shore, and the 3 ghostly gentlemen are in the midst of a merry uproar. A soothing sea breeze brushes past Marcus like a long-lost friend. Everything before her is familiar yet surreal.
Sirs,
So, gentlemen, have you stopped arguing?
Hey!
Look who's here, mate, and the last in sight for Deadeyes. The three surrounds Marcus with a dedicated kindness as is encircling a flower that has been finally bloomed. We thought you might not want to be friends with us after all our arguing.
sorry.
No, I'm sorry. It was only that it took an extra little. Wait. It was only that it took a little extra time for me to prepare the new edition of the History of the Flannel Isles. But at last, I finally completed my final draft and sent it along to Miss Dury. Hopefully, I haven't made her wait too long as well. The pair of translucent hands gently pats Marcus's shoulder.
Marcus.
We know what you've been through, lassie. Without your perseverance and talent, winning back those readers would have been impossible. But a spot more courage than a sailor betting the last of his pay in Monte Carlo. But you did it, lass. Aye, and some fine work, if I do say myself. Nah, stop it now, Captain. You're just flattering me. Hey, GM Gaming, how's everything? Are you also playing Reverse 1999? She shakes her neck with embarrassment.
That's right.
Yeah, just mostly a lot of storytelling, but the artwork's pretty nice. I've been playing for a while. I know it's like something different from the usual gacha games like Genshin, Star Rail, 1999, or like Reverse, or Withering Waves. No, not at all, Miss Marcus. It just as the blowhard said, for once. You didn't go on to collect the post yet, have you? Seems your edition made the papers already, and the postman brought the reply. Hey Roland, how's everything? Yeah, we're finally... been a while since I started the stream. I think it's supposed to know like a week. And... They're good letters this time. Nothing terrible about them. We checked. Marcus opens one of the reader's letters. I feel so honored to write you this letter, as I now humble fan of your history of the as a now humble fan of your history of the Flannel Isles. Oh, should I call it to the archipelago now? Oh, thanks for the hydrate. Your courage is more than admirable. Who could have thought you'd be brave enough to make such a extensive revision? Let me express my warmest congratulations, for now that I see your work for what it truly is. I'm so pleased to have experienced such an unforgettable fantasy tale. Fantasy? Suppressing her fleeting doubts, she continues reading the letter. Thanks to you and these ghost gentlemen you invented, all of us following along get to experience a little piece of their world, just as you imagined it. Yours faithfully, a reader eagerly waiting the next edition. Oh, Ronan, did you roll for Marcus, or are you saving for the next banner or the next update? Marcus feels at once a sense of loss, something she tries to suppress rather than let her eat at her. There are immense more than these letters. Oh, including one from the Daydream Post. Dear Miss Marcus, we are more than delighted to share with you that, thanks to your newly updated To the Archipelago series, the Daydream Post has been seeing a tremendous rise in sales. What more? We even received a request to change the serialization schedule. They want at least 2 editions per week. After discussion, the publishing house has decided to provide you with an entirely new section. We call it the Tall Lighthouse. So that's where the titles came from. Our sincerest regards to you and your ghostly friends. Praise pours out from one letter to another, overwhelming Marcus' humbly until she feels fate. Staggering, she retreats into the sanctuary of her room. The excitement conveyed to the editor's letter still lingers as vivid images in Marcus's mind. Yet she remains more than a little perplexed.
What?
Did they choose to move to the archipelago from the documentary literature section? Unsure about the publisher's decision, she continues writing. As new manuscripts are sent out, enthusiastic readers' letters are delivered to the island one after another. This is what I call a perfect representation of literature fiction. The tale of this investigation columnist's friendship with these 3 ghosts brought tears to my eyes. To dive into this surreal world of mysteries has become a pastime of mine during each and every afternoon tea. Your creative writing has truly brought a smile to my face. I envy the talents of these comical ghosts, and your imagined arcanist way of writing is, I must say, a refreshing break from the humdrum of human reporting. I look forward to reading more as soon as you can conjure it up more. I personally believe this series deserves the title of Fantasy Story of the Year nominee, and if it doesn't meet the awards credentials, we should create a new award for it, something like Arcanist Fiction of the Year. So now everybody's thinking like it's fiction, not like not like a real thing. All these letters are brimming with affiliate praise, but all with the same monotonous implication. Overwhelmed by the return of her anxiety, Marcus snaps her pen again against the paper. As she plunges yet deeper into the black fog, a familiar voice jolts her back to reality.
Marcus.
Hello, Miss Marcus. Something on your mind, lass? Seems like you've been out to sea with no paddle, a wee bit more than usual lately. Pinning for a vacation, maybe. You're not turning into a ghost like us, are you?
You fool.
Balderdash. She's not pinning for the forge, nor has she passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Our wee writer's only a trifle tired from all her hard work. As usual, you no respect for matters of the mind. He casually strokes his mustache, taking pride in Marcus and, by some extension, himself.
Great.
Miss Marcus, dare I say, you've been a veritable star of late. Yet I'm curious about what adventures I embarked on next.
Marcus.
Marcus, do you think you'll keep writing? About this island? About us? This question, innocent as it is, breaks the spell that has too long lingered over her, as if waking her up from the stupor. Will I keep writing? I hope to garner more readers with elaborate stories that have more twists and turns. I hope to make more humans understand and accept Arcanus. I hope that one day, humans and Arcanus could set aside their differences and join hands to uncover the ultimate truth. I hope to record and represent all the truth I read to the readers. Even more so, I hope I'll be able to explore the mysteries of the Final Isles with them. But, what is it that they want? Convoluted mystery plots, wild imagination plucked straight from the realm of fantasy, and everyone lives happily ever after ending? Marcus looks up in a daze, evading the expectant eyes around her. The sky above is unusually clear, but that doesn't seem to faze her. to the archipelago has achieved significant success. So, why can't I find joy in their praise? The self-questioning abruptly stops. An obvious answer lingers, crawling back from her tongue. To the archipelago is nothing but a well-crafted fiction, a broken puzzle. The people reading it don't care about the truth, nor the real arcana behind it. So how could this be bringing me closer to my dream? This series was inspired by the first-hand experience of my dear friends. Without their memories, their stories, I could never have written these tall tales. Of course, I know my writing skills contributes a little to this unpredicted acclaim, but only so much.
Madam Hoffman?
But it was Mineral Hoffman and her invaluable comments that led to the change that made to the archipelago a success. I can't take an ounce of credit for all of these. Even if I were to explore every inch of the archipelago and unravel all its mysteries, the readers might only see it as an inevitable conclusion to an entertaining fantasy. Is the answer to my dream something I can find in the small archipelago? The whistle seems to faintly echo in Marcus's mind. The steam whistles grow louder, overwhelming her eardrums with a piercing cry. Like a sound emerging from the depths of her heart, a distant call from a grander stage. That's a steam whistle! A ship! Madam Hoffman! Also, Madam Hoffman's on the steamship. The whistle continues to sound nearby as a sail of familiar checkered patterns is raised. The final draft is in my room, James. Would you please send it to the care of Miss Dennedy for me? I entrust this mission to you, Captain. Thanks. She runs towards Hoffman without looking back, leaving her puzzled phantom friends behind. Miss Marcus, you're off at the steam. But hey, well, just where are you off to now? Farewell, Captain James. Farewell, Donald. Farewell, Thomas. The trapped young lady finally takes a leap forward. She does not look back. Carried by the sea winds, the letter and manuscripts flutter in the air as if waving Marcus farewell. Please wait, Madam Hoffman. The Foundation ships begin to loom larger in Marcus's view. The surprised figure aboard comes clear to see.
Madam Hoffman, I want to join the Foundation. Perhaps.
That was probably the first decision I ever really made on my own.
Why?
But why? Why did it suddenly come to my mind? It was a long time ago. As her vision cleared, the overturned chairs and collapsed curtains around her hints at the ultimate conclusion of the current play. Why did I choose that path then?
What have I really achieved?
Alright, the last part before we start the battles. Stage 8, the young investigator. Marcus is like a book swept out to sea, floating directionless through the dead of the night. Familiar pages flash rapidly through her mind. Echoes of the past ringing yet again in the present. I remember now. I wanted to make a choice of my own. So I joined the Foundation. I learned of the storm. I bade farewell to my era and my old dream. A choice of my own, but did I really make one at all? A sudden agony almost tears the entire book apart. The spine of the book trembles as it struggles to turn a new page. Yes, I made my choice. Now see where it led me. I ruined everything. Lady Essel held a great exhibition where she made that speech.
I wish for the Arcanists to unite and establish an independent kingdom of freedom, free from repression and oppression.
It's all my fault.
If only I hadn't violated the conferency agreement, she wouldn't have made that dangerous speech. What I did not only fail to help the Arcanists, but worse, still it intensified the divide between us and humans. Lady Essel and many other innocent Arcanists deceived by Maldus Vindictus shouldn't have fallen into such a predicament. Political assassination, ethical conflicts, and a civil turmoil has erupted all over the world. History has been altered. The storm was formed.
No.
I should have never called out to Madame Hoffman that day. I should have stayed on the Flannel Isles. Madame Hoffman? Then comes a clearer, more suffocating page.
No! Madame Hoffman!
Don't cry, Marcus. I know what I'm doing. The future is yours.
No.
This page seems agonizing long.
What have I really achieved?
Image bristling with pain and regret, ruefulness intertwined with Marcus's frantic thoughts. Back on the island, I couldn't even stop my friends from fighting. How could I have thought I would be the one to change humanity's discrimination towards Arcanists? After I made just that one choice, to join the Foundation, every choice afterwards only seemed to magnify the number of people I hurt. Even Miss Hoffman. I never once managed to live up to my inspiration. Could it be that the cold abyss stretches out before her, reality naked of any illusion.
I've never left the Flennon Isles.
The active cell within her body finally finds an outlet amidst the surging pain. A strange scent invades the air, blurring Vargas's vision.
Marcus.
Wait, so is she like now like a spirit form, or I'm not sure how are these ghosts by her now? Aren't they in oh. So you'll wait a bit. Is everyone back from ads? You guys back? So like what I was saying, like since Donald's there, does that mean like I'm not sure how they would be on the new area that Marcus is, because she's not back in the Flannel Isles. But Donald's one of the three ghosts that she met in the Flannel Isles, so I'm not sure how, unless she became a spirit, or like she is in the the middle of turning into one. Miss Marcus, how did you end up here?
What?
Oh, poor lassie, you look miserable. What sort of trouble have you been in?
Hey!
Don't you worry, mate. We've always been here for you, always ready to lend you a hand. The phantoms, as ever before, gather around her with great enthusiasm. James, Donald, Thomas! When long suppressed emotion finally breached her confines, finding a soothing haven on the windless island. Aren't you disappointed in me? On the Final Isles, I tried to tell your story, but everyone only saw it as fiction. They praised its plot and suspense, but none of the credit really belongs to me. I failed to unravel the mystery, and I failed to help people understand Arcanum, so my so-called dream was nothing more than an excuse to run from reality. I had run, tucked tail to the Foundation, and then to Vienna. In the end, it feels as though I accomplished nothing. I couldn't help Miss Hoffman stop Manus Vindictus. I couldn't find the incantation that may grant immunity from the storm.
No!
I only ruined everything. Yet the bitter chill of remorse fails to tear her down. For her loyal friend's warmth, even through the veil of death, can illuminate the darkest nights, like a refuge on the dark sea.
Marcus.
Lass, we don't know what kind of trouble you're facing now, but things are rarely as bad as you fear them to be. Take on that old age wisdom. We're all proud of you.
Why?
But I didn't do anything helpful to you.
In fact,
Right now, I won't be slandering a friend of mine like that, eh? Or did you forget who wrote those wonderful stories? What made people remember the Final Isles and us forever?
Great.
That may well have been the cleverest thing I heard you ever said. Yet. But I didn't even uncover the truth behind your deaths. I failed you all. Her head hangs low, with the imperceptible shake lurching her forward and back. A familiar touch of warmth reaches Marcus' shoulder again.
Marcus.
Now, don't be so hard on yourself, lass. How can we blame you if we haven't figured out for ourselves? With a dozen years head start, no less. We always stayed here for all this time, but we never given up hope. We'll continue to seek out the truth, no matter how long it takes. Remember what Miss Hoffman told you. Whether you find the truth or not, it is the journey that keeps us engaged. Suddenly, she was reminded of that edition. Why is it so loved by her readers? You remember those letters from your readers? So many bright ideas, trying to fix the puzzle you set out for them. Not a one got close, eh? But remember the fun we had talking them over? Finding the answer is not what really matters, lass. What matters most is our perseverance, our courage to carry on. Marcus finally lifts her head.
Madam Hoffman?
She understood that lesson all along and tries to pass it on to me. But do I really understand it now?
Did I
If
understand?
If I were to die today, would I know what I was supposed to do? I think I do now. Standing up, she races forward, just as she did on the island coast that fateful day.
What really scared me was not death, but the possibility of dying ignorant.
Marcus.
Did you hear that? It's some kind of strange noise. She takes a deep breath and opens her eyes.
We can still make this right. Doctor, wait! There might be another way. Alright, let's do the battles now.
So we finished this most of the story. So let's see, conversation. Plants. Oh, let's see. I want to see how Marcus fights.
It's an honor to meet you. Or this one. This book? Or this one? I can hear it. I can't read it. To read. Oh, this lens! Careful with the pages, though. It is here. This book? I can hear it. Like a metaphor? Careful with the pages. Are we really doing this?
No, relax.
Are we really doing this?
I smell the scent of mint now.
Transcribe.
And now we can see what her ultimate is.
Oh. Oh. It is here. You can do this book. And now it's easier to understand. Time to turn the page.
The curtain
That's an interesting ultimate.
has fallen.
And I think deduction is a harder version, I think. So recommended plants. Do we have any good plant characters? I don't think so, right? Oh, we have actually, we could use all these. Let's use up. I forgot what her is. I'm gonna use her too.
Shall I ask the enemy for their tactics?
Let's see how this goes.
Time for me to dance.
I've been choosing characters I haven't, like, played with you before. Let's see.
Or this book? Oh, what's this? I can't read it. To transcribe. Or this one. Time to turn the page. You can do this, Marcus. You can do this, Marcus. That's for another prize.
My heart with the strings.
Maybe now it's easier to understand.
Penetrate.
Petrified.
Leave! Oh, what's this? No. Are we really doing this? Oh, this is no good. To read.
No worries. The strings are not broken.
You can do this, Marcus. Can I replace it? Maybe now it's easier to understand. The star has moved. So will the mortal spirit. Stay low profile. I don't want to be shut.
Stage 2. Let's I'll use some of my characters. Do I even need a healer? Let's see. Probably not, right? It's 2.
Hey, give me a chick. Just one, the lowest denomination.
Or this book?
Yeah, I know.
Time to turn the page. To transcribe.
What? You still don't recognize me? What about now?
Oh, disarmed.
Do this.
Close your legs. Be serious. Stay focused. Ta-da!
Time for a special massage.
Go! Oh, careful with the pages.
Intentarlo de nuevo.
Because for like, you know, the Lighthouse event thing, wouldn't Jessica be like a appropriate character for like part of this Lighthouse thing?
Yeah,
Close your legs. Be serious. Stay focused.
what? You still don't recognize me? What about now?
Stay calm. Just like in the training.
Do this.
Are we really doing this? Oh, don't worry. I have prepared it all. I have prepared it all.
Hey, hey, hey! Don't be shy.
Basic complete. Was I?
Shall I ask the enemy for their tactics? Shall Shall I ask the enemy for their tactics?
It's an honor to meet you. I can hear it. This book? Or this one? Wait, no space. Like a metaphor? Retreat! What? I can't make the call? Shh. I hear some horse hearts. This agents so loud. Talking loud calms people down. Agents have guns. It's called common sense. Retreat! What? I can't make the call? We should listen to what people say. You can do this. We should listen to what people say. Whose heart is beating so loud? We should listen to what people say. Don't be so furious. Maybe now it's easier to understand. Secrets always hide in careless women. Listen carefully. Careful with the pages. Are we really doing this? Or this one? This book? To read. To transcribe. I can't read it.
So I guess that we probably do need a healer.
You can do this. Are we really doing this? Shh. I hear something. Maybe now it's easier to understand.
Nice. I think we only had to take out the Yup Golem.
I don't want to be shunted to...
Time for me to dance.
Or this one. This book?
My heart with the strings.
I can't read it. To transcribe.
No need to look back. No worries. Relax. No worries.
Or this one.
Please, don't resist. It's not a sentimental.
Time to turn the page.
No worries.
This book?
My hands on the drums. My heart with the strings.
Like a metaphor?
Frost you with the armor of the forge. Penetrate.
you some?
Relax.
Okay, are we really doing this?
Breathe.
Maybe now it's easier to understand. Great. No mistakes.
They are much naughtier than the Foundation's kids.
I guess she's talking about the fairies.
It's an honor to meet you. It is here. This book or this one? Time to turn the page. To transcribe. It hurts! I can hear it.
Relax.
This book?
Tu peux la jeter maintenant, la charme d'opère.
To read. It is here. Or this one. I can hear it.
It will all be fine.
This book?
Mon officier n'est pas un capitaine.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Transcribe. You can do this, Marcus.
Don't be peaceful moments.
It is here. Maybe now it's easier to understand.
Oh, this relents.
I can hear it. Are we really doing this book? Like a metaphor?
The curtain.
Wait, did I? Okay, I did that. Last stage, or stage, last stage, part 1.
It's an honor to meet you.
The moment of utterance. The moment of silence.
This book or this one?
Benefit from reading. Till the torch is lit.
Time to turn the page. Great. No mistakes.
Okay, so what's this 3?
just right. I can hear it.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Until the torch is lit.
Die Brille maintenant, la charme d'obscene Stille, wischen die bunte Mond.
Oh. Are we really doing this?
Relax.
The moment of utterance.
It is here. I can't read it.
Benefit from reading.
Oh, this violence!
It hurts.
Oh, they took away my thing to do my ultimate.
The moment of silence.
Are we really doing this? Or this one? I can hear it.
We walk in long nights.
Time to turn the page.
Winter Stille, wischen die bunte Mond.
Ah,
They are much naughtier than the Foundation's kids.
Finally, some interesting work.
Shh, I hear something. This book or this one?
Whose heart is beating so loud? Talking out calms people down.
I can't read it. Great. No mistakes.
Radio waves are everywhere. Everywhere.
Oh. You can do this, Marcus. Are we really doing this? It is here. Shh. I hear something. Maybe now it's easier to understand. Time to turn the page.
Retreat! What? I can't make the call?
Or this one. This book? I can hear it. Or this one. To read. I can't read it.
Oh, this violence!
Great. No mistakes. You can do this, Marcus. It is here. You can do this, Marcus.
No worries. Relax.
Mon officier n'est pas un capitaine. Now it's easier to understand.
Breathe. Thank you for your cooperation.
I'm the support staff.
No worries.
I can hear it.
One second. Let's do this thing.
Relax.
It is here. Are we really doing this?
No worries. I smell the scent of mint oil.
Cherie.
I smell the scent of mint oil.
Careful with the pages.
Oh.
Whose heart is beating so loud?
Relax.
Are we really or this one? Talking out calms people down.
Thank you for your cooperation.
To transcribe.
Stay low profile. I don't want to.
What do we get? Oh, not bad. Got everything. Okay.